Hello everybody, Atlas here, welcome again to the Nexus. Today I will not, or at least in this video, I will not be playing a game. I apologize for that. Might not be as exciting, but what I want to do right now is, yesterday we did the account reset and major patch for the game. This is the first major patch and the first major account reset for the game. So I want to explain a little bit about kind of what happened versus the video that I did the other day explaining what will happen, which is I believe it's in the Uther video. I don't remember exactly. Forgive me. But anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of go over the patch notes. Part of the reason I'm not doing this over gameplay is I want to actually kind of show what happened and explain a little bit about kind of my view on how it's going to affect things, which I hope will be even kind of interesting for people who aren't playing, so you can get a better sense of kind of what Blizzard's idea is, like kind of where they're going with this. So this patch was fairly major. It's added a lot of functionality to the game, and it's a fairly big deal, actually. And it's actually a step towards some things that I'm really excited about. So let's kind of delve into it. I'll go from the top of the patch notes. I am kind of cliff noting a little bit, because really I just want the interesting parts. I'm not going to sit here and read to you patch notes. You can look those up. It's not a big deal. So a couple things that I already mentioned. I talked about this in my first look of Uther. There were no resets on real money purchases. Now let me go ahead and jump into the shop here. There were no resets on real money purchases. So characters like anybody who you may have bought, I mean, honestly, I don't even remember, but any characters you actually bought with real money will just be maintained in your account. There's been no reset on that, so you're good. Don't worry about that. They'll do that eventually. They've promised that they will do that eventually, but for now, it's not really a thing. All accounts were wiped back down to level 1, so as you can see here, I am level 6. I got this little icon now. This is kind of new. I'm not sure if that's based on level or what that is. I can't seem to change it, and profile summary is not available for alpha yet. So this menu got streamlined a little bit. It used to just be a quests thing. You would see your daily quests at the top, and then all your hero quests listed at the bottom. And then match history, which is not available for alpha currently. Now, I am level 6, so let me go back. Here, you'll see at the bottom, which this was here before, but I have not unlocked everything yet. I did a bunch of verse AI games last night just to get myself up to 6, like, really quickly. I was just seeing how high I could get in the night. It was pretty late, though. I'm going to try to get up to level 10 super fast. I'll probably do some recordings of that. I'm going to do a couple of hero first looks because, one kind of random thing, all heroes are free for a couple days. Until tomorrow, I believe. So I'm going to try to just get as many of these done as I can so I have some freedom with my gold, which I'll talk about in a minute. Actually, I'll talk about that right now, because that's the next thing on my little schedule. So basically, all of your gold was wiped clean. Any gold you had was totally wiped. However, as depending on what level you were, everybody gained some gold. Another thing I did mention before. So, for the most part, everybody got 10,000 gold. However, if you were level 20 or above, you got 30,000. Now, the handful of people, which they actually released a list of everyone who did this, the handful of people who made it to level 40, which is the current maximum, I believe, also received a Heroes of the Storm lanyard and their 30,000 gold. So I got 30,000 gold. I was able to make 4,500 just in my games last night. These early levels, you get gold so much faster than when you're a little bit higher level. So let's go into a thing that's actually pretty exciting that they have done. This was a big deal. Custom games have been activated. Now, as you can see, you can create a game of any of the 4 maps specifically. I don't know why. So Blackheart's Bay, I guess, is the featured map. I hadn't actually looked at this yet. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of random. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to hit create. I'm going to kind of take a look at this. And it's going to kind of sit here for a minute, apparently. So here we go. So basically, there's a bunch of slots I can invite people into. There's a bunch of slots that enemies go into. I can fill it with AI. It's pretty cool. Fairly straightforward. Nice little thing. So that's a nice option. Eventually, they did actually make a note of something that I'm pretty excited about, which is that they will be adding observer mode. Now, the reason that's really good is that is a big step towards creating a competitive environment. As soon as observer mode appears, tournaments can be done effectively. I had an interesting way in mind of doing it without observer mode, but it's a monstrous pain. Like, it's 100 times more work than it needs to be with a basic observer mode. So, luckily we'll be getting that in, and hopefully it's good. However, they have it currently disabled for the alpha. So, not seen any of that yet. So I did mention daily, well, it's kind of in general. Daily and hero quests have been reworked. Unfortunately, I have not unlocked hero quests yet, but from what I understand, they've changed like most of the hero quests to be just a little bit different. Daily quests, I mean, so far they seem about the same. I think they just changed the XP and gold amounts. I think I would only be getting 300 gold before for this quest. So they did kind of increase that gold amount, I think. I mean, that's just me kind of vaguely remembering. Also, there were some general performance improvements. So that's everything about the actual, like, kind of programming itself. They also made some user interface changes and a couple other odds and ends. For one thing, 1.6 million XP cap per day in custom practice and co-op games. So unless you're playing in versus, your XP will be capped. The reason for this is people could, like, grind it out on bot games. Like, basically just starting a game and losing. Like, just going AFK and losing over and over again, that kind of a thing. It's a similar kind of thing you had in Hearthstone, actually, where people were kind of botting games out, and so they created a gold cap. So that makes a fairly good sense. There's no cap for versus games. Quests can only be completed in versus, which is a new thing. A lot of people would finish their quests, like say they just play 2 games, they would finish it in co-op mode, because you're just fighting bots and it's much easier to do, but now you can only complete those quests in versus, so that's a big thing. There is let me go to, apparently you can look at your profile, apparently you can look at your, I apologize, you can look at your profile while in Hero Select when you're setting up for a game. From what I understand, I'm not sure where that is yet. I think maybe it's when I actually ready in, which I'm not doing right now. So the button is there. The thing is, I don't think you can do anything with it. But anyway, these buttons down here were added, so this is kind of fun. There's a skin thing. You can select through your skins. Well, I don't have skins for anybody. There's also, you can select your mounts, and you can look through your abilities much more in depth, with which I'm pretty excited about from my first looks. I've usually had to just kind of remember what their heroic, not ultimate, but heroic abilities were, and I don't know, the tooltips are actually a little worse now, though. I'm not sure what's up with that. Like, they're actually a little more vague, which I'm not a huge fan of, but whatever. So, yeah, there's that. There's no quit button at the bottom anymore. It was replaced with back. Don't know why. Kind of random. Also, the tutorial is a little more complete when you actually get to this point in the game. Like, once you're through, like, the combat tutorials and stuff, Uther will actually help you kind of understand what's going on, like what you need to do to kind of progress. What's funny about that is they did not bring in, to the best I can see, they did not bring in Uther's regular voice actor for that, and it just sounds like some guy from The Office, like, that they grabbed and were like, hey man, hop out of your cubicle or whatever for a while, we need you to voice Uther. Like, it's kind of funny. It kind of made me laugh when I was listening to it for a while. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, another thing, this is kind of exciting. I actually kind of argued against this in the forums because I didn't think they'd do it, but they totally did. And I don't mind, it's just I didn't feel like they would. But they added bundles. So, there's different bundles now, which are bought with real money. This is the starter bundle, so you're looking at Nova, Stitches, Elite Tarn, Chieftain, Gazlo, Sergeant Hammer, Malfurion. I've done a video on all those except Stitches. Also 3 skins, which this is the skin for Nova I don't like. I don't have an issue with Roller Derby. I just like her base model, like, way more. The Spectre skin's kind of cool, but whatever. Anyway, Psycho Stitches, that's kind of fun. Glam Metal, Elite Tarn, Chieftain, and you also get the Rainbow Unicorn. So that's $28.85, however, that's regularly like $96.40. It's just on sale right now, I believe, on account of the beta. So, yeah. Warcraft bundle, $19.95. Right now you get Arthas, Uther, and Falstad, Prince Arthas skin, Lumberjack Uther, and then the Warhorse. You're looking at the StarCraft bundle, also 1995. Kerrigan, Tassadar, Tychus, Infestatychus, which is a cool skin, by the way. This is one of the coolest models. I've never seen anybody in-game with it, but it just looks freaking awesome. And a Cyberwolf, which is great. I kind of want one. I might be getting a Cyberwolf eventually. Now we're going to back up and look at the Diablo bundle. 1895 on account of the actual characters being slightly cheaper, and I think maybe it's because you don't have a mount with this one. You get a Witch Doctor, Tyrael, Diablo, and then Demonic Tyrael and Lurkablo Diablo. This one looks cool in-game. It looks very silly here, but it is kind of fun in-game. And this is just a badass skin. It just looks so good, especially if you can get the color variants for it. They look amazing. So good. So yeah, they did add bundles. That's pretty cool. They're currently like super freaking cheap. Like, yeah, this stuff is legitimately like almost $100 worth of stuff normally. I probably won't be getting it myself, partly because I don't want anything in it. Like, I do want a couple of things, but I'm getting them with gold, so, I mean, whatever. Whatever. That's kind of fun. Also, kind of a random thing. One of the skins was reworked. Oh, let me actually jump back into the shop. I don't know if you saw it before. I think I probably showed it on my Kerrigan video. I probably did. I don't know. But, oh, I just missed it. They did add Succubus Kerrigan. Or they didn't add it, but they reworked it heavily, so it looks a lot better. Now it looks awesome. Like, before it was kind of weird looking, but now it looks freaking awesome. I might actually, once I get a little more practice in with Kerrigan and actually get decent with her, I might actually get this skin, because it looks super good. Really big fan of it. Alright. So what else do we got going on? That's about it as far as this part of what I can show you, so I'll talk a little bit about the in-game stuff. First off was the Haunted Mines. I pretty much figured this would happen. It was buffed slightly. All that they did was increase the scaling health on the Grave Golems. So this did verify a couple things for me. First off, the Grave Golem's health is based off of a, I guess, formula of how many skulls you got versus how much time has accrued throughout the game. So every minute of game that has happened so far, the golem will have higher scaled health. So they increased that scaling by a fair bit. 10 minute, I think by about 100 per minute, which maybe slightly more than that. And it's pretty good. Like, I haven't really played it except in bot games, but I think that's going to help a bit. I don't know if it's going to quite bring it up to the same level of, I guess, scenario intensity as Dragonshire, because they didn't affect the fact that you're still, I mean, the time investment of going down to those mines, you're going to lose so much against a good team. So, but yeah, they at least buffed the golem, so they did make it a little more enticing to actually go down to the mines and follow the objective. Also, another thing I can show you from here is 2 new characters were added, and I did show you one of them for a minute there. You were looking at Brightwing. Brightwing is our new support character, or one of the 2, really. I'm going to do a video on Brightwing. Probably it's going to be my next one, and part of that is because it is a new release, but I don't want to prioritize new releases because I have a lot of heroes to get through, but Brightwing I think deserves some attention. Brightwing is very good. I played a couple of AI games. Brightwing is very good. This is a high skill cap character, though. Very interesting. I'm pretty excited about. Her. The other one is Lily, which I remember from Mists of Pandaria. She's also kind of a support. Basically, she has some healing and some kind of interesting sort of crowd control ideas. She doesn't seem as big of a deal. I mean, she seems all right. That's about it. she seems okay. But, I don't know, I'll see more about her. She's going to be a little lower on the list. I feel like she wasn't quite as anticipated of a release as Brightwing, and I'd really like to get Brightwing down. Because, she's just strong. But I'm going to just be putting out... I'm probably not going to have a particularly strong order to my videos for a minute. I'm not going to really know what I'm doing next until I get to it. I'm going to do Brightwing. I will probably do Tyrande or Zeratul right afterwards, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see. So yeah, But yeah, we'll be doing Brightwing fairly quickly, so I'm not going to talk too much about what they do. Brightwing's very good, though, but we'll get into that. Another thing, this made me laugh. Arthas was buffed across the board. I did not even write down what they changed, because it was everything. Like, there's no... his abilities pretty much do the same stuff, but they just, like... his damage and cooldowns just got buffed to hell. So, I'm kind of glad I waited on doing a first look on him, because he would be awful. I mean, he'd be so bad if I had done it before that patch. So I'm expecting maybe he'll be a little stronger now. He'll be a little more enticing. Also, the other one, I pretty much called these, just saying. The other one was Barbarian. Barbarian was buffed across the board. It's a little interesting. She lost a tiny bit of damage, just a tiny bit. Well, her damage, I guess, more got focused, and then the way she gains life was changed a little bit. The Fury trait doesn't give her life anymore. That instead increases move speed as it gets higher. Her using abilities gives the Barbarian increased move speed, but stuff like Whirlwind actually heals for a fairly moderate amount. Because the thing is, people were kind of using Whirlwind for the healing anyway, and got negligible healing on everything else, so they just made it so Whirlwind heals more, and everything else doesn't heal at all. So, kind of interesting. Overall, I think it increases her survivability. They also just changed some cooldowns around, increased some damage. A few different little things. Diablo?
Kneel before the Lord of Terror.
Diablo was actually nerfed slightly. I mean, it's mostly tweaks, but it was some slight nerfs, just some cooldown changes. Just toned him down a tiny bit. He was pretty domineering if he got ahead early. I'm not super great with him, but man, yeah, if your team gets ahead, Diablo's unkillable. The biggest change I remember off the top of my head, though, is it used to be he could collect souls. When he got to 50 souls, then he would respawn in 5 seconds, but he had a cap of 50. So they increased the base cap to 100, which I like, because it actually means he can get into that really good tanky category without needing to talent it to have more. But he needs all 100 of those souls to be able to respawn so quickly. So you need quite a bit of time just grinding out souls. So you really need to have lived quite a while. So if you're behind and dying over and over again, you're not going to be able to like quickly collect 50 and roll with it. His character model looks so good. This is kind of the Diablo 2 Diablo more than the Diablo 3. It's not so much of that, like, spider thing. Another one was, I was looking at the Demon Hunter, which I'm pretty excited about this. Demon Hunter was buffed across the board as well. Minor changes, just kind of little additions to damage. I mean, it's just damage scaling was pretty much what happened with her, which is good. I feel like she needed it. I mean, she's good, but I just wish her heroics were actually fun, but they're just not. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I think she'll be a bit better. So, you know, I'll get in some play with her. It'll be pretty good. And then almost every hero in the game had minor tweaks, like one line of, like, this thing's damage got increased, or this cooldown got changed, or little things like that. Other than that, I mean, the little things like they fixed issues with quest credit, which you may remember in a couple random videos I kind of pointed out that I was not getting credit for quests I was doing, which is annoying. So apparently they fixed that. I have not been able to test it yet, but... So hopefully, and kind of some minor tweaks to characters. Couple weird things I remember, like people were able to use Abathur's little mines as distractions for stuff like the Grave Golem in Haunted Mines, and you could use them to block Nova's triple tap. Is that what it's called? Triple tap ability, which is like super weird. Little things like that. So they removed a lot of Abathur's confusing functionality with his mines. A few other things, fairly straightforward. It's just tweaks, little tiny tweaks all across the board. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the account reset and the current patch notes. So how's this going to affect things? Well, Blizzard is fantastic with balance. I mean, they just are. They're very, very good at it. And it seemed like that was something that they were just good at in, you know, strategy games for a long time with StarCraft. But they've proven, I apologize, to be just solid at it across the board. And that's one thing I appreciate a lot from Blizzard, personally. Yeah. So, I mean, balance is being affected. Haunted Mines got buffed a little bit. I expect it will get buffed a little bit more. I expect Cursed Hollow to be brought back just a little bit. but I do think they need to think about kind of how they're going to do that, and I appreciate that. Arthas might be viable now. I'm really hoping, and Kerrigan had some tweaks too, which I'm hoping kind of brings her up to par a little bit with some of the other characters. Because she's good, I just don't feel like she's up to par with Illidan or a couple others. So, and I'm very excited about Brightwing. I mean, I'll talk about her.
I am happy to meet you.
She's very squeaky. I'll talk about her more. I love this skin though. Best skin NA. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. I will probably play a bit of Brightwing. The supports in this game, so good. And if you want a little kind of hint of what makes this character good, passive. This passive is stupid. Like, it is so good. And, yeah. So, yeah. Brightwing. Brightwing's going to be very strong. Very excited to see kind of how Brightwing fits in. I do think it's a little strange that both releases were Warcraft releases. But I think right now they're just getting out what's ready. I expect when the game's actually out, then release schedules will be a little more well-rounded. Where am I going? Oh yeah, okay. So access these a little better. I expect that they'll be a little more rounded. From what I understand, oh, what's her name? Kerrigan's like lieutenant in StarCraft 2. I don't. Starts with a Z. I don't remember, but from what I understand, she's a character who's kind of in the works right now, so that should be pretty cool. That should be exciting. But yeah, I mean that's all the patch notes. That's pretty much everything. It's a lot of just tweaks, a lot of getting stuff kind of more in line, which I think is great. And actually, one thing I'm really appreciative of is just making the UI a little better. I mean, it was fine. It just now you can see it a little more. It's kind of more boxed, so you can kind of see what you're doing. I like this a lot. I really like this ability kind of breakdown. I think it looks really good. And the Succubus Kerrigan skin, I'm really impressed with it. It used to look really like sickly and odd, but yeah, it looks good. Zeratul. He's a BA. Practicing him a little bit for my kind of first look of him. That should be a lot of fun, hopefully. He's high risk, but we'll see. But anyway, thanks for sticking around with me, guys. This has been an overview of the account reset and the patch notes. I'm going to try to get as many of these videos out, or at least recorded and ready, as I can for these heroes while they're free, so I can kind of run amok and do whatever I want with my, like, 3,500 gold or whatever I've got. 35,000. I have a lot of gold. I just do. Yeah, 35k almost. Gonna try to get a few of those looks out. I'm probably gonna get a kind of a better release schedule set up, so I kind of know what I'm gonna be doing next for sure, and I'll let you guys know on that. Thanks for sticking around with me, guys. My name has been Atlas. This has been Heroes of the Storm. I will see you guys next time.